Michael Nagy here with Jiggy Jag TV and DiscoveringBands.com. And for everyone watching to share this video on my channel and help support the awesome bands that I feature. And today I'm here with Fire Follows. How you doing today?
Good, brother. How are you?
Good, good. It's great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, dude.
Yeah, I want to start off for saying, for anyone who's not familiar with the band, you want to give us a little history?
Yeah, Fire Follows started a few years ago as just my kind of a solo project. I'm sitting in my studio right now, so just, in here cranking stuff out. And when it's a hard rock band, you usually don't want to use your name. You got to come up with some kind of cool pseudonym, right? So Fire Follows was it. And then just in the last year, I guess couple of years, started bringing in some additional players, secondary vocalist, and really trying to get this thing to a point where it's like tour ready, which is what we're kind of working on right now.
For being a newer band, how did you pick up such momentum so quickly? Because I see most of your videos have like over 100,000 views.
Yeah, we're super active on social, man, and I think from a production side, we really want this stuff to have come right out the gate, being as radio ready or whatever you want to call it as it possibly could be. So I think the production, which Tim Junker, who does the secondary vocals, he's also an engineer as well. So we've got a pretty good head start, I think, on that side of it. And then just kind of going ballistic on the social helps quite a bit. So.
Yeah, your sound is very polished. I want to say with your new song, Father Oh Father, it's like it's epic, incredible, love the vocals. You want to talk about that song a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You want me to just dive into it, or you got any? Yeah. So it's, obviously, as you know, if you've heard everything else too, it's like a stripped down piano version, basically, which is cool because from my perspective, most of the songs are that, they're just piano ballads, basically, that all then get the electric guitars and the big string sections and the orchestral components and drums and all that stuff. So with that one especially, because it's so piano driven, I talked to Tim about, hey, why don't we just do, because usually you release the full version of the song and then you come back and do the stripped down version, but in this case I thought it'd kind of be cool to go reverse order on that. So yeah, we just put the piano vocal version out there first, and then we'll follow it up here probably in the next, 6-12 months, something like that, with the full version.
Awesome. When do you plan to release your next song?
Probably about 3-4 weeks. So we're on every 8-week cycles right now, some plus or minus. It's not a total perfect science, but next one will be big, back to the hard rock, symphonic, whatever it is, So yeah, I would think before the end of the month for sure. I would guess third week of August probably is where we're at now.
That's what I like about your music. You got a bunch of elements going on. You got the hard rock, the metal vibe, the piano stuff. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, absolutely. That for me anyway is the most fun part of the whole thing, is trying to figure out how you can get all of those different elements to kind of cooperate with each other, which is, it's easy to overdo it, and I do it all the time. So it's just scaling it back to where you can get 6, 7, 8 different things happening simultaneously, or at least moving in and out to some extent.
And you said you want to get the band tour ready coming up?
Yeah. We've got, we're rehearsing actually here in about 5-6 hours. So we've got, the way we'll do this is we've got some backing tracks for the string sections and some of the synths, obviously. But obviously all the vocal, drums, guitar work and everything will be done live. So we're just kind of in the process of figuring out how to best get that put together. But it's starting to sound pretty good, man. I'm liking where it's at.
Awesome. What are some bands you'd like to tour with and share the stage with?
I always say the same thing on this. I sound like a broken record, but I think in the immediate, I would look at somewhat newer bands that they're definitely at a level above where we are right now. But bands like Ashes to New or Slaves, I think, if we had opportunities to do that, that'd be incredible. As far as bands that I grew up listening to and that I really love, you're talking Breaking Benjamin and Shine Down and all that kind of stuff. We're not quite there yet, but long term, that would for sure be the goal.
Yeah, it's great to see a bunch of newer bands up and coming, rising up, because normally you see the same bands touring and festivals, so it's great to have some newer bands coming along.
Absolutely, dude. I just hope there's some space for us to jump in there at some point. So
I definitely think so. By listening to music, I can tell that you guys are gonna make it big.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. Thank you.
Like your song "Home," that's amazing.
Yeah, that one came out a little over a month ago, I guess. It was the most recent one before Fire Follows. And yeah, I mean, what's cool is like, so when and I've known Tim Yunker, who does all the rapping, and he does a lot of he's got a great voice too, you know, he sings on a lot of the stuff as well. But I've known him since I was like 14 years old. So we go way back, and bringing him into this like a year ago, I think every song that we do, we get a little bit better understanding of like how to best utilize what he does, you know? And so it's kind of cool for me because I write all the material for the most part. But when I hear what he's doing, I go, oh shit, like I need to adjust this or that or open up this space so that he can come in and do his thing. So I think Home is a pretty cool example of some of that, where the sound is changing, not a ton, but a little bit, to sort of make room for what he's doing.
And for the new material, what kind of sound can we expect there?
For the new track?
Yeah. Well, up and coming, newer music, you're going to be making new track, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a big melodic heavy rock song, just like everything else. Like I will say the difference on this one is I'm actually going to mix this one. On the first Fire Follow stuff, I mixed those. The most recent stuff, we've been outsourcing the mixing to Phil Anderson, who he's amazing. I just want to do something a little bit different with kind of where we're going sonically. So I think the sound it'll be a little bit less like conventional hard rock, and it'll have that kind of big, broad, I don't even know how to describe it. Sort of, I call it like the mountaintop sound, right? Where it's like just this huge wall of sound, but that's kind of what we're going for with this next one.
Awesome. Now, if people want to look you up online on social media, get your music, how do they do that?
We're on everything, obviously, but the one that I'm on the most, or the two I should say, are Instagram and YouTube. So if anyone actually like wants to get at us or, you know, say what's up, Insta's probably the easiest way to reach out to us directly.
And I want to ask, how did the name Fire Follows come to be?
It's funny, dude. So in addition to the music stuff, I run a logging company. It's like logging, land clearing. So we do a bunch of tree removal for, you know, wildfire mitigation stuff. And 8 or 9 years ago, we were working on a project, and then one of these wildfires, because we're in Colorado, there's been a ton of them. You know, they've been all over the country, but we've been hit pretty hard by it. Anyway, one of the wildfires broke out maybe a few hundred yards from where we were working, and it was crazy because obviously we saw it. You know, I had to get out of the way for the firefighters to come in, and shortly thereafter, the whole forest where we were working, which is like 15,000 acres, most of it had burned down. It was absolutely crazy. And then 3 or 4 years later, I was with my foreman. We were in a different part of the state looking at a new project. We went through the area with the guy that was, you know, the landowner. As we were leaving, we saw a plume of smoke, you know, same thing, a few hundred yards away. Thought, oh, it's no big deal, nothing of it. The next day, we're watching the news, and that whole community had burned down. So it's just this crazy pattern or coincidence. And this is like 4 or 5 years ago, I was sitting with my dad, we were grabbing dinner or something, and I was telling these stories, and I'm like, man, it's just crazy. This keeps happening. I go, wherever I go, and without missing a beat, he goes, Fire Follows. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. Like, I thought, oh, it's kind of cool. And it wasn't until like maybe a few days later that it just sort of was coming up in my memory. And I was like, okay, that's what we're going to use, artist name.
Awesome. Yeah, I used to live out west, and I used to go to Colorado all the time. It's awesome out there. The nature, the cities, a lot of opportunity.
It's really cool out here, dude. Yeah, we're in the Springs, which is about an hour, at least I am, and then Emily, my drummer, is at Tim's up north. But yeah, it's about an hour south of Denver, so pretty centrally located. It's good.
Yeah, a lot of good opportunities for you with the band out there.
For sure, man. For sure. Yeah.
Where would you like to see the band in a few years from now, would you say?
I think the production side is like, I don't want to say it's already there, but it's such a thing that we do, like myself and Tim, so much that I think that the only thing that's left on the table is getting on the road and really just hammering the touring thing. So that's all the people that we're working with right now. That's pretty much all I talk to them about is, what do you need us to be doing? Like, what steps can we take to better put ourselves in a spot to, you know, take advantage of some of those opportunities? It's very possible that before the end of the year, they're going to do some more lockdowns, obviously, so we'll see where that goes. So this year might be a little bit tough, especially for trying to kickstart that. I'm still gonna try. But if we can't for whatever reason, like 2022, yeah, we got to make it happen. So
definitely, yeah, it's kind of hard. It's unknown right now to plan, and it's unfortunate because concerts just started coming back.
I know one of the guys that I was talking to last week that I think will be able to help us with some of the like tour coordination stuff. He was saying that because of what happened, obviously 2019, 2020, all of the bigger shows, bigger festivals that were supposed to have happened, that got postponed. Most of those bands are trying to backfill all that stuff right now, and so the opportunities or the openings for some of the smaller bands are pretty few and far between, because you've got, you know, bands that normally would have no problem getting into X, Y, or Z venue that they can't even find an open slot right now. So it's pretty tightly packed, but it's all good. You know, we'll find a way, make it work.
Yeah, I just went to my first concert in over a year, like last week. It was awesome to get back out.
Who'd you see?
Gemini Syndrome.
Sick, dude. I saw them a couple years ago at a venue in Colorado Springs here, and it was awesome.
Yeah, they're a great band.
What do you think of their new song? To me, it's new. I think it's probably been out for like 6 months. It's the new radio one. I feel like all their popular songs have something to do with dying. It's called Die With Me, I think.
Yeah, that's a great song. They actually just released another one like a week ago called Abandon, which I think is their best work yet.
Really? I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah, I love the production side of what they did with, because I get it, they have that other hit that's like Die With Me. So they got Die With Me and then Remember We Die. I'm never gonna get that straight. But the production, their approach towards it, I think, is really cool. So I'm looking forward to checking out that new one.
Yeah, I just did an interview with them too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys are badass, man.
Yeah. Well, what are some bands that influenced you and that you're a big fan of?
I mean, I love Gemini Syndrome. I think growing up, the biggest Breaking Benjamin and Taproot were the two bands that I remember hearing that it was like that awe moment, you know, where I was like, what is this, right? It was this big, heavy sound, but it was so melodic, and those guys can really sing. Do you know a band called Flaw?
Yeah, I know Flaw.
So Flaw was probably, like, from a lyrical, vocal perspective, was probably the most influential band for me. Chris Voles, I think, again, like lyrically, he's just on another level. But yeah, those types of bands, obviously like Linkin Park too, you know, because like the Fire Follows thing does a lot of the rap rock kind of stuff in Linkin Park. They really pioneered that. So honestly, anything that's got a big heavy sound that's super melodic that you could break down and play on an acoustic guitar or play on the keys, I'm pretty much going to be a fan of.
So a lot of the new metal type bands.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how, for sure, like the genre is, I don't even know what the genre is anymore, right? Because it's like, which is cool. There's so much stuff and it all cross-pollinates, you know? I've been listening to a bunch of the, it's, I feel like an idiot, it's Memphis Mayfire, right? Is that like kind of hard rock new metal? Mm-hmm. Those guys are awesome, you know? And I don't even know what to classify them as, right? It's like, it's brutal sounding, but it's not that hard. I don't know. So like there's really, really cool, like I said, sort of blending between everything right now. And it's, yeah, I think everyone's got a pretty good handle on what's working.
It's awesome to see that new metal has sort of made a comeback. And like you said, it's kind of even evolved a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you got so much of the rap rock stuff going on, which I think is cool. What I love about it and what you'll hear on this new track is like the rap rock, especially depending on how you do it, it allows you to create like so much dynamic in the song, you know, because if you pull back into these verses and especially some of these subtle raps, it just helps to set the chorus off that much more when it hits, which is, from a writing perspective, really cool. Sorry, dude. Gotta turn that off. I should have still. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to your new song coming out.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll try to remember to shoot you a link beforehand, let you get a little taste of it before it comes out.
Thank you, definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, it was great having you on and talking, and everybody, look him up.
Yeah, I so appreciate it, bro. Thanks for having me on, dude.
Anytime. And for everyone watching, I've linked their music in the video description, so check that out.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, dude.